perform or perish. So your advice will motivate our OTs to commit themselves for public service in their career ahead. Thank you very much, sir. And now it's my great honor to introduce today's chief guest, Dr. Prashanta Mahapatra, IAS retired. Sir is presently Dean, Institute of Health Systems, Hyderabad. Sir is a medical doctor. He completed his MBBS from Utkal University in the year 1978. And Sir obtained Doctor of Science, Doctorate in Science from Harvard School of Public Health. You will be very interested in knowing this topic for this doctorate, Public Health and Economics. Sir was a Director General of this prestigious institute, MCRHRD Institute, 10 years ago. Earlier, Sir worked as Principal Secretary for the Human Development and Child Welfare Department and also School Education Department. Sir is a joint patent holder. It's a rare achievement for a civil servant in disease model software. It is called DISMODE software. And Sir published more than 50 articles in prestigious journal. So it's again my great honor, sir, to welcome you to address our focus.
Director General, Mr. Ekka, Tirupati Garu, Madhavi Madam, faculties of the HRD Institute, officers. In one more day we will become from trainee to officers, so good news. See, after I kept the call from Madhavi Madam, I have been thinking what should I be saying, on this occasion. So I have selected a few points for your consideration. The first thing I want all of you to understand is that honest and successful participation in any form, honest and successful participation in any form and under any sector is a substantive and significant contribution to society and nation building. Now, what do I mean by that? You may, according to your passion and preference, work in, say, agriculture, industry, or services. In any role, howsoever perceived by people as small or big, in any of these roles, you can make a significant contribution to nation building. You may be in the unorganized sector and you do your job well, you develop and make your society proud. A bearer, if you are a steward serving food in a restaurant, how you dry the glass, how you dry the clean grass, how you dry your hand before that you are able to serve the same excellent food prepared, might have been prepared by the chef. But the way you serve it on the table makes people happy or puts off people. You can make a difference. You can build a great country. This small, and why do I take this example? Because my daughter, one of her dreams and passions was that she wanted to be a waitress in a restaurant. So she took some exam, went to US and was, some 6 months she had break, and every day I used to get feedback that how her work is being rated and what are the curriculum she passed and all that, and what does she got, how much tips, and why she didn't get tips. That's American culture, to give tips or like that. So, you come to think of it, each wherever you stand, in each and every role, you can make the world around you more beautiful and more meaningful. The key is to grasp how the universe, the world, and the environment around you works. That's the important developmental challenge. As a boy, I always was struggling to make sense of the environment around me, and the books and the curriculum were of not much help. Because you are taught some English, in English some prose, which cites some scene that was based in, let's say, some 19th century England or Wales or like that. Or you are reading something which is describing Himalayas, and I used to imagine the ant hill in my village. Because you know, the books, geography books said Himalaya is very tall, and then on the top of it there is a plateau called Tibet. So I used to imagine how will the plateau be looking like. So I could, you know, in my village, which is in the Mahanadi deltas in Odisha, you know, I could see only an ant hill, and then I imagined, suppose I put a plate on top of the ant hill, that is how a plateau will look. You know, and I had to wait many more years till I got a job and a posting in Patna, and I took a friend's bike and went to the foothills of Himalaya just to sort out my childhood doubt, how does the Himalaya look? Okay, but it's important to grasp and make sense of the universe, the world, and the environment around you. Now, how do we do that? You know, this requires deep study. It requires deep study, keen observation, and continuous learning. And continuous learning from trials and errors, successes and failures. So you make sense of how the universe, the world, and the environment works, and then engage. Now, in my high school days, you know, the day the exam was over, you know, myself and many of my brothers, sisters, or my friends, you know, the day the exam over, you return home, the first thing you do is pack up all the books, okay, and keep them away, or tell parents or like that, can I give this book, oh, my job is done, and somehow then I don't have to read. So somehow, like that, a time came when I look back, you know, that last 50 years I find I have been reading, and still it has not been enough, you know. And why am I saying all these things? I am just building up a case that you could make a significant contribution to this society wherever you are. All you needed is to grasp the environment and engage with it intelligently. However, an opportunity of public service is a privilege. An opportunity of public service is a privilege in itself. People often forego lucrative opportunities and are willing to suffer and sacrifice for the privilege of public service. Sometimes I wonder, why do people willingly accept modest remuneration for a civil service career? I don't fully know what motivates people to join civil service. But I am sure that each one of you, and like you, each one in civil service must be having a set of reasons and a set of motivations that push them or pull them towards civil service. But I can only look back and relate to you what motivated me. I grew up in a modest environment, not in total poverty but in near total poverty. Not enough to eat for all members of my family, witnessing my mother's tears that, we didn't have oil to cook. We are a farming family, so we had grains. We are never in shortage of grains, but we didn't have money to buy oil for seasoning. And, but as I was growing up in the midst of these challenges and all, I was dreaming of potentialities for progress. And I was concerned about the slow pace of development, poor governance, inequalities and injustices. Why I say slow pace of development? Because I remember once in my boyhood, when I was in the high school, my father would sometime in our veranda sit in the evening, and when he's in a mood, he will chat and will be taking questions from us and all that. And we were brothers, whining and our disgust that that nothing is happening, nothing is developing, because from my village to the high school, particularly in rainy season, my two brothers and myself, three of us in two bicycles, I will be the pillion rider most of the time, or sitting on the road in front, and we would ride 5 kilometers to the high school, and in the rainy season, the muddy road, every kilometer you have to stop, take the bike, the ditch on the side, and clean the mud and wash, and then ride 1 kilometer and go. So we'll return back in the evening, and while nothing is happening, the country is not developing and all that. Then my father would reassure us that no, you see, we are seeing progress. Then he will give small examples that what he saw in his childhood and how things were different, So, but still they are not enough. And also witnessing the injustices or the dire poverty. We are comparatively better off. There are still a lot of people who were poor. Many of my friends couldn't afford their their parents couldn't afford their upkeep and all. So in that I dreamt that bada hoke may I fix everything. I will sort things out, and particularly I thought I will be a scientist and solve all problems and make discoveries and all that. Okay. But eventually I realized even various circumstances pushed me into medicine, family or like that and all that. That's a long story, I don't want to bore you with that. But as I was growing and concerned about the situation of our society and all, I thought the best way to fix it is to join politics. So I really entertained the dream and the hope of joining politics and sorting things out for the country. But the financial situation of my country, my younger brothers and sisters looking forward to me finding a job or earning something so that we could support each other. So then I thought I had to take up a job. And then of course I had done medicine. So the first you look for job, you see IAS and all is a chance. And even my time doctors were not giving civil service exam. So first I had to get a job in Central Health Service. I managed to get a job in Central Health Service. So at least that was a bit reassuring, and I could contribute to my family. But this urge of joining politics or one day quitting my job, earning enough to save enough and quitting my job and going to my village and joining politics, it continued in me. Okay. But I realized it's going to take 10-15 years by the time I clear off the loans and all this that I have to incur to support my brothers and sisters and my big family. We are 9 brothers and sisters, 9 siblings of my parent. And always in my family there are a couple of cousins and all, so we're a big long family. And so I thought the next best thing is civil service in the Indian administrative service. Again, because I was put off the way our health services were being run. As a medical officer, you had to depend on our chief medical officers didn't understand administration and they were ruled by the clerks. Okay. So all this anguish drove me to the IAS, thinking that if I cannot join politics, maybe I can do something in civil service. Now, did I succeed? I really don't know. Sometimes I feel good about the progress I have seen in my lifetime. Sometimes I am disheartened by the lost opportunity, by the lip service, symbolic gestures, arrogance, vengefulness, and outright corruption. Even then, I continue to engage and continue to. So, I am continuing as a squirrel. That's what keeps me. How politicians are, not focused on national development, and how politicians are corrupt and all that. You see, in a way, some amount of bitching to banta hai. As long as you are in your club or in your drawing room amidst your friends, we complain about wine or any authority figure in our life, we whine about them. So some amount of whining is okay. But don't take these whinings or these fashionable discussions too seriously. I want to put forth before you my own experience with the politicians, based on my own experience with politicians. Politicians are far ahead of us in competence, in the ability to comprehend the universe, the world and the environment around us. Do not be fooled by your educational degree and the lack of it in some of the politicians. My mother learnt ABC, that's all she says. In her father's place she learnt, she would say Ghoda lesson and Hathi lessons, the horse lesson and the elephant lesson. Came to me here in Hyderabad, was in my house, doesn't understand or speak in Telugu, okay, sits, doesn't speak to people. But people who come to my drawing room, talk to me, or people who are working for me, they go back. One day she told me, this guy who is coming and going, Lakshana ठीक नहीं लगता है. I am telling in English, but she told me in Odia, Lakshana is bhalo laguni. And that fellow turned out to be a useless fellow, and that was proved. I thought he was a nice person. That was the keen sense of him. So she has made sense, you see, isn't it? So, that is why they are ahead of us in so many ways. But most importantly, the political senior, because somehow our position and all goes into our head. But politicians learn to take no for an answer, because imagine they start as a sarpanch or a party worker and then going as an MLA, or at every stage, everything is not in their control. But all their constituencies are coming to them. Their relatives and party workers are coming to them. They have to satisfy them. So I don't think it is humanly possible or even theoretically possible for anybody to satisfy everybody. In fact, one of the ministers with whom I worked, I went to call on him, and then after a week or so, he in some lunch or something he had organized, and he asked me to stay over and have lunch with him. So we are sitting and chatting. Then he had to satisfy everybody in my family. And he's an industrialist, I mean, he's and turned politician. So it's not that he's making money out of politics, he's made money and then joined politics. And we are sitting in his industrial, in his industry's headquarters. I had gone to call on him, that's where he gave me appointment and this thing, you know. Now, you see, you can't satisfy everybody, and the politicians learn that, isn't it? So this fashionable talk that politicians, you know, they want all that they need to be done is not necessarily, is not borne out by reality. I have experienced many politicians I have worked with as ministers, but I want to cite two examples. Those two ministers, they are no more. I'd like to salute to them. And one was the late Janardhan Reddy, who became, who was the Chief Minister of Andhra Pradesh. I started my career as Sub-Collector Gudu, and Mr. Janardhan Reddy, the late Mr. Janardhan Reddy and late Mr. Srinivasul Reddy, both of them are top politicians. Those of you who are from Andhra Pradesh would hear me out. Both are from, in one situation I had to actually recommend repull of the election in the polling stations of one of their, in their own village. But they become, one day Mr. Janardhan Reddy calls me and starts talking. And I said, sir, usually, you know, you take a book and, sir, after pleasantries you tell me. So like that, then he says that, Arey Mahamandra, can I not talk to you just like that? I don't have any work. I said, okay. So somewhere he came to know some feedback that he felt that I am very happy that I heard good words about you. You are an independent man. You are continuing to be independent. I am very happy. This is the, okay. And similarly, Mr. Srinivasul Reddy, again he is a no-nonsense minister. If he wants something, he has to have his way. That is his reputation. Becomes my minister in health department and reviews my work. He discovers that I am preparing some World Bank, some project report for developing the area hospitals and in the state. And he realizes for World Bank funding where I am preparing that. He realizes that this proposal has tremendous potential for the state. Then he calls me, after 15 days he calls me, Mahamandra garu, I know, నేను చెప్పింది తెలుగు చెప్పింది ట్రాన్స్ఫర్ పోస్టింగ్లు మీరు చేయరు, but I mean, he said, I'll be asking for many transfer postings or many things you may not, you won't do, I know that, but you are doing this important project which is important for the state. I am going to put up with you, but you tell me where can you complete this proposal that we can give to Government of India. And he saw to it in his mild way that I completed the work and we presented the proposal. It led to funding of about $1 billion in our country, you know. So these are the kind of things. So I have tested difficult ministers. Education. I went and met him, sir, you are posting me a director in medical education. In India, no IAS officer is ever posted in this job. Doctors are going to be up in arms and they are going to be after you and your life is going to be hell. In addition, you are going to ask me to some transfer and posting of medical college professors, which I am not going to do, and I am going to disappoint you. I am not going to do means if it is not permissible within our policies, I want. If it is permissible, I will do for you. But he had the, clarity and the, commitment to say, Mahamandra, you don't worry about that. I will not pass on any cheats to you, but there may be situations I cannot avoid, I will pass on cheats to you. But if I pass on, you do what is can be done. If you don't do, I am not going to ask you. Even then, I could not trust him. I could not believe. So I went on, I availed, what is that, we have 7 days of joining time. So I went home to Odisha on joining time. And sure, when the news came that because people didn't perceive me as a doctor, people perceived me as an IAS officer, even though I have a medical background. So there was news in the newspaper, so there was a question in the assembly that why did you post an IAS officer as director of medical education? So the minister replied, he is a medical doctor, his administrative experience, I posted, what is your problem? Then somebody said, sir, he is not a specialist. The minister himself is a surgeon, he is himself a specialist. Then he simply, without telling, that's what I was told. I returned from Odisha to find that assembly debate has been over, the question has been answered, and there is no doubt that I am going as DME, so I joined the DME. Now the reason I am sharing this, because today we are living at a time when somehow to be a politician in this country, the thing that I dreamt of and I could not be, but I still, if possible, or if I could, but I don't have the capacity, I know, but if I could, then I would, you know. But today it has become a bad word and we are not giving the due respect to our politicians. If you do not give respect to your leaders, then again you cannot build a good society. Now, but please do not misunderstand me saying that everything is hunky-dory. I have come across politicians who are, you know, in some way, you know, I have come across in a way, let me say not, you know, rephrase. I have come across Durmargudu in my career. Out and out Durmargudu in my career. Okay. But whenever I came out from a Durmargudu, I used my training, my knowledge and the deep study of the law and the procedure, the power and the reach of the government, because if the government wants, it can reach anything, anywhere. Okay. So it is my understanding of these things, I use them to fix those Durmargudus. Two more points I have. My next appeal to you is take care of yourself. It's important that you take care of yourself. In this world, ultimately, in the ultimate analysis, each one of us stand alone. In the ultimate analysis, each one of us stand alone. The spirit decor is important and useful for a normal day. The spirit decor is not going to come to your rescue on a rainy day. When you are in trouble, or when you are even little bit थोड़ा sideline का sideline मतलब आपके हिसाब से नहीं, because I personally found work in every post, but sometimes my posting was considered by others as sideline, तो फिर मुंह फिरा के चले जाएंगे, isn't it? ऐसा भी situation आएगा, you know. So, or you know, your friends and contacts and all that will shrink down to the core essentials when you are in trouble. So you have to develop resilience. Now this resilience are of many kinds. One is develop the skills that you can survive and kick around well, inside or outside the government. I am saying so, personally I try to build up my skills like that. I went outside the government for 5 years and earned my salary and maintained a team of about 50-60 workers with just, you know, based on our teamwork, but that was outside the government. Okay. So if you hone your skills, develop your portfolio of your work, okay, but that's not the only resilience. Plan for where you are going to settle, where you know, how are you, at what stage you are going to, you know, sometime you have to acquire a property that will stand you in good stead, where you can go back and settle or at least resort to in times of need. Do not feel embarrassed about it, because in my career, joined in 80, I am telling you by my 85, in the IAS association I raised this question to my seniors. Sir, हमारे लिए कुछ plot wood को कहाँ मिलेगा, थोड़ा guide करिए, कैसे करेंगे? तो my seniors they jumped at me. These juniors, you know, जितना property minded हो गए, they are only you know selfish interest, कुछ काम का ध्यान नहीं है, and you know, and I was a keen type professional, I was a keen type officer, and फिर भी वो बोल रहे काम का ये नहीं है, and all that. So that day I was so put off with my seniors. I went back to one of my batchmates. I was staying with in his apartment. Then we decided, चलो इनको छोड़ेंगे सीनियर लोगों को, एक सोसाइटी हम सेटअप करेंगे और हम खुद जमीन खोजेंगे और हम एक अपना मकान बनाएंगे. क्योंकि एक मकान बनाना कोई बुरा बात नहीं है, लेकिन क्योंकि इधर उधर से पैसा बना के इधर उधर से पैसा खींच के 10 मकान बनाना शर्मिनाक है. लेकिन you know, and in a legitimate way. So I worked hard going around Hyderabad in scooter with a friend of mine on Sundays and looking for land, and eventually we somehow managed to form a society. And और उसके बाद 3 साल 4 साल के बाद सीनियर्स फिर वापस आए, चलो भाई नहीं हम समझ गए, चलो अब ये करते हैं. So point is, don't be embarrassed about you know this. But and another thing, balance your duties to the public and to your family. किसी को आप पूरा छूट दे देंगे, वो पूरा सर पे बैठे. किसी को आप पूरा छूट दे देंगे, ये नेचर है. प्लीज अंडरस्टैंड दिस. So you balance these things. Okay. So try to, as far as possible, do not let your family meddle with your office affairs. And do not let your office work and your commitments, you know, for you to neglect your family. And but how to meet these challenges? बड़ा मुश्किल होता है. But one thing I have learned, the day I learned to plan my work. For example, today is a challenging day, but if I get upset, I cannot deliver. So the day when you have extraordinary challenge, that's the time. Don't lose your cool. Think through, plan, and one at a time deal with them. But that's important. If you learn how to balance the two, it will be possible for you to serve, and it will be possible to defend and protect your family and let your children develop well. Finally, it's an appeal from one of your consumers, because I am a consumer of the departments that you are going to manage.
Or Cephali, did I pronounce wrong? Cephali? We'll go out of focus. Ready?
Thank you. Now the Director General.
Madam, picture. Hold up. Ready, sir? Sir. Ready? This is, sir, what we have designed new photo. Sir, decorate, sir. Ready, sir?
जय गाथा जय जय मंगल Telangana state, namely Kolatam by Sulochana team and Okudor by Sri Ramesh team, Perni Shivatandamam Nutyam by Rajkumar team. As part of the program, there will be prize distribution in sports and other activities. As beginning, the cultural show, first of all I like to call Kolatam group. The their caste god. Okus are the tradition of the Yadavas and performed the marriage of Malanna with the Brahmaramba. The team consists of 4 to 6 members. The main narrator and assistant narrator and these 2 instrumentalists were playing on big drum called Ranabeli, and the other on thereof talas of the big size. Another member plays on the kanjira, and the 6th one sings along with the narrator and also plays nepra in the wind instrument used at time of natural order. I call to Wagudor performance by Ramesh Ji. Please welcome.
సార్